At the dawn of the 20th century, the British Empire stood as a colossus astride the globe. It was the largest empire the world had ever seen. Its territories spanned every continent. The sun, it was said, never set on the British Empire. This vast dominion was held together by military might, economic prowess, and a belief in the superiority of British civilization. British culture, from language to law, left its mark on every corner of the empire. The British Empire was a product of centuries of exploration, conquest and trade. From the East India Company's dominance in India to the establishment of colonies in North America, Africa and Australia, Britain's reach extended far and wide. The Industrial Revolution further fueled British expansion, providing the technological edge needed to project power across the globe. This period, often referred to as the Pax Britannica, saw relative peace and stability within the empire. British naval supremacy ensured the security of its trade routes, while its administrative and legal systems provided a framework for governance in its colonies. The empire provided Britain with access to raw materials, markets for its manufactured goods, and strategic outposts that secured its global interests. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly invincible empire, cracks were beginning to appear. The costs of maintaining such a vast empire were immense. Moreover, the rise of nationalism in its colonies and growing competition from other European powers posed significant challenges to British dominance. The seeds of the empire's eventual decline were sown even as it reached the zenith of its power. The First World War from 1914 to 1918 marked a turning point in the history of the British Empire. While Britain and its allies emerged victorious, the conflict took a heavy toll on the empire's resources and manpower. The war shattered the illusion of European invincibility and exposed the vulnerabilities of the British Empire. Millions of soldiers from across the empire, including India, Australia, Canada and South Africa, fought and died in the trenches of Europe. Their sacrifice fueled the war effort, but also fostered a sense of national identity that would later challenge British rule. The financial costs of the war were staggering. Britain, once the world's leading creditor nation, emerged from the conflict heavily indebted to the United States. The war effort led to the depletion of its treasury and the weakening of its industrial base. The economic strain of the war had long-term consequences for the empire. Furthermore, the war accelerated social and political changes within the empire. The demands of wartime production led to the empowerment of women and the working class, who played crucial roles in factories and shipyards. This newfound agency contributed to the rise of labor movements and demands for greater political representation. In the colonies, the war fueled nationalist sentiments. Many colonial subjects who fought for Britain began to question their subordinate status within the empire. They returned home with new ideas about self-determination and a desire for independence. The war had irrevocably altered the relationship between Britain and its colonies. The Second World War, from 1939 to 1945, proved to be an even greater test for the British Empire. While Britain once again emerged on the winning side, the war left the empire exhausted and financially drained. The conflict exposed the limits of British power and accelerated the process of decolonization. The war effort required Britain to mobilize all its resources, both at home and across its empire. Colonies supplied troops, raw materials, and financial support. The battles of Britain, North Africa, and Burma showcased the bravery and sacrifice of soldiers from across the empire. However, the war also revealed the growing strength of nationalist movements in the colonies. The Japanese occupation of British colonies in Southeast Asia, including Singapore, Hong Kong and Burma, dealt a severe blow to British prestige. The fall of these colonies shattered the myth of British invincibility and emboldened nationalist movements. The economic consequences of two world wars had a profound impact on Britain's ability to maintain its empire. The wars depleted its treasury, weakened its industrial base, and led to the loss of markets. Britain emerged from the Second World War as a debtor nation, heavily reliant on financial assistance from the United States. The economic realities of the post-war world forced Britain to confront the costs of empire. Maintaining a global military presence, administering vast territories, and providing economic aid to its colonies became increasingly unsustainable. The empire, once a source of wealth and power, had become an economic burden. Furthermore, the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers diminished Britain.